gonna start this video off with a big sigh. You already know what we're talking about here. And I wanted to make this little commentary just to address some things going on within the community right now, because when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens and the Vegas Golden Knights series, sure, there are so many storylines to go over. The fact that it's 2-2, the fact that it's now a 2 out of 3, the fact that the Canadiens have had their good moments and the Vegas Golden Knights have had their moments as well, but the biggest thing that is taking all the conversations by storm is the refereeing. And you know, I had this complaint in our stream yesterday because if you hadn't noticed, we'd been streaming for all of these games so far and we plan to do more streams in the future. But the biggest complaint that I saw in our chat yesterday was that Canadiens fans are just going out there complaining about the refs. Stop whining about the refs, bro. There are games that get poorly officiated all the time. There are missed calls all the time. So you're not special for complaining about the referees here. You should stop. It's wasting your energy. And you know what? If you want to talk about wasting your energy, I think there is an equal amount of waste going around when you expend energy telling other people to stop wasting their energy, because let's face it, if you really don't like something and it's getting annoying to the point that you're legitimately getting frustrated, just turn your phone off, bro. Just close your laptop screen. It's like that Tyler the Creator tweet. How is cyberbullying even real? Just turn off your computer. Obviously, I'm joking. That's kind of an exaggeration on that part, but still, there have been so many conversations going around about refereeing, officiating, and all this stuff has been super exemplified in this Canadiens and Vegas Golden Knights series. Now, before we get any further, thank you to those in the previous Canadiens video who commented. Brian Bellows. If you want a chance to be featured in the next Canadiens video, then hey, stick around to the end of this one. But the refereeing has been suspect. Now, we'll say that. I don't think that's too controversial to say. But I do want to make a few points here, just to go over what exactly it is people are feeling about the refereeing in this series. Now, I don't know if I'm speaking for everybody, but I know for me and a good chunk of people that I communicate with when it comes to hockey, nobody really believes that there's a conspiracy going around, that Gary Bettman is paying the referees to make Vegas win, so more tickets can be sold in Vegas because it's a marketable platform for the NHL. Nobody's legitimately believing that there is some conspiracy going on here that defies the rules, laws, and ethics of actual refereeing. I think what most people are just taking a look at is, firstly, the incompetence of the referees that we've been presented with in this series, and the consistency and the quantity of calls, but also referee preference and referee bias instead. Now, I know some people might be super hardball on the other side, but that's not kind of who I'm talking about here. Because when it comes to the numbers, I think somebody on Reddit did this the other day, but when it comes to Chris Lee specifically, the guy who had been officiating the previous few games here with the Montreal Canadiens and the Vegas Golden Knights, the math was done here with the calculations of all this stuff, and it was found out that Chris Lee penalizes the Canadiens 13% more than he does other teams, and this was taken over a sample of literally like 1,700 NHL games. So there is some formulaic processes over here that do have significant outcomes. And you know, that's just kind of funny to me. Like, I'm not going to get angry about it. As I said, it's not really worth it to get angry about something that I personally don't have any control over. But it is noteworthy, at the very least, to acknowledge that this refereeing in this series has been bad. That's why every time we do the streams, every time we see these calls go uncalled and these bad things happen to Nick Suzuki getting punched in the face, or Pacioretty holding Kotkaniemi's stick but Kotkaniemi getting the hook, having a game yesterday where nothing gets called, players are getting tripped, players are getting taken down, players are getting boarded, and eventually it's a soft Nick Suzuki hook that gets called for the first penalty in the game that gives a power play. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's comical, at the very least, just to take a look at how things have been so bad. And Game 3 was probably the worst of these examples. So many things happened in Game 3 where the Canadiens probably should have gotten away with a power play. And it got even worse when Corey Perry was bloodied up by Marchessault. Should have been a 4-minute double minor, but instead, 5-on-5 continues, and it's in freaking overtime, for crying out loud. If the Vegas Golden Knights go out there and they win Game 3 in overtime, You thought the Habs fan base was annoying today because of what's happening with the referees? Oh, they would have been even more ticked off had Vegas won Game 3, had Josh Anderson and Paul Byron and the heroics displayed in that process not showed themselves off. It's always one of those things where it's like, man, even though they won, I'm still ticked off about this refereeing stuff. Even though I'm happy my team is on top, there still is a problem that we're witnessing. And if you're ticked off with the Habs fanbase for feeling that way, then man, you're absolutely lucky that Vegas didn't win Game 3 after that missed Corey Perry call. That Game 3 was just so poorly officiated. You're seeing all the comments from people coming out here, oh, Craig Button saying it's the worst officiated game he had seen, something like that. You take a look at the stuff that should have been penalized compared to what was penalized, all the missed opportunities to give power plays out there. It's past the point of, oh, some calls go unmissed. Oh, referees make mistakes all the time. It's been at its worst here. We've never seen it this bad than we have seen it here. It's been bad before, but man, it's gotten to a point now where we're taking a look at so many just NHL analysts that get paid to cover this game on platforms like TSN and Sportsnet and The Athletic, talking about how it's bad. Like, take a look at the article that was published the other day. This is from Dom, I'm still not going to pretend to pronounce his name because I don't think I can. From about a month ago, NHL playoff officiating is an embarrassment that we have accepted for too long. And now, this is what happens when you get the worst of it. You're seeing the social media reaction on Twitter, on Facebook, and Instagram. Dom's right. We've been used to terrible officiating. And that's kind of why this year, in this series, it's so bad that now it's all that people can talk about. Because it's never been this bad. So I don't want to see anybody in the comments saying, oh, Lego, you're going out there whining about the referees and talking about how it's injustice and all that. It happens all the time. No, I'm not talking about the referees per se. I'm talking about why people are talking about the referees. As I said, you can check out the highlights on the stream, man. Every time we see a bad call, I just kind of laugh. I'm just like, are you serious? That's not a penalty? And then I kind of chuckle it off a little bit. Because, you know, as a guy who's here doing the streams, what purpose would it serve for me getting angry and just yelling at people and being upset? That doesn't really make for a good stream now, doesn't it? And besides, I can't really get upset about anything anymore after being a fan of the Vancouver Canucks. I've seen so much disappointment in that franchise that I'm kind of just insensitive to anything that can tick off a hockey fan base anymore. So, for Montreal and Vegas going out here, I don't even know what the message is of this video. Just, refereeing is bad. Chris Lee, come on. He saw Nick Suzuki get punched in the face and he chose to ignore it. All of the referees chose to ignore the Corey Perry thing because they were all looking at it. Come on, it's not like nobody saw it. Gets even more funny when you realize that Gary Bettman was in the stands for the entire Game 3. Like really, on the Nick Suzuki punch thing in front, you take a look at what Craig Simpson said on the broadcast. Chris Lee didn't blow the whistle even until after Nick Suzuki's helmet was off and everybody was kind of going after each other. And he just kind of looked away. And Simpson was like, yeah, if you want to lose control of a game, this is how you do it. Just call a penalty, man. Call a penalty. There's stuff going on there. It should have been a 5-on-3. And, I mean, there's no use in getting ticked off or whatever about it now. And I'm not going to claim that I'm ticked off. I'm just kind of talking about it, you know. That's what this channel's about, just conversations. So let me know in the comments what your response is to my entire idea here. People shouldn't be upset about the whining because this is the worst that we have seen out of the officiating in a very long time. I know the Tampa Islander series has had its fair share of missed calls and bad officiating as well, but in my opinion, what we're seeing here with Vegas Montreal is worse, and it's worse to the magnitude that everybody is talking about it now. Sure, the Habs having an extraordinarily large fan base plays into this, and all of a sudden the Vegas Golden Knights are the big, bad, giant foes here in this situation because they're the team that eventually gets, let's just say, some sort of benefit from the poor officiating we have here. So talk to me in the comments what you think about the referees and all this stuff that we're going on about over here. I honestly don't know how to wrap up this video. There isn't really like a point that I wanted to make. I just wanted to have a conversation about it. So if you made it to the end of this video, just comment in the comment section below Mario Tremblay because, hey, it's a pretty cool one right there. But let me know in the comments what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. Rules in 99. And bye.